Okay, I've just read the self-forgiveness practical obligation made by Jesus, and I really have to give myself this note, this heads up, this message. Well, the message by Jesus basically is guidelines of self-forgiveness, and what I have to tell myself is that there is really something within me that I keep, something that I wear, which is in the practical application section of self-forgiveness. But self-forgiveness and practical application has to be seen as one. From this point on, as we are now the 2nd of August 2008, from this point on, self-forgiveness goes hand in hand with self-corrective application. Practical corrective application, meaning that self-forgiveness, which is a statement that I make when I forgive myself for having allowed myself to limit myself to a thought and to be directed by a thought in general. And then if I continue like acting as if I haven't done that self-forgiveness, then it's not going to work. The thought will reoccur. As I've experienced today, the thought reoccurring of me feeling less than because I wear the hat. And there is what I have to face about myself is what I have hidden myself from, which come from me showing myself without my hat in whatever circumstances. And the reason why I have to face myself as who I am without the hat is for me to forgive myself for all of those points which are latent or hidden within myself, which concern the exposition of myself without my hat. So this is a process for me to move into right now. It is the next step, the step forward, for me to find trust as who I am, and not as who I am with the hat, which is strictly of the mind, but who I am as awareness. So I will just add a few paragraphs that have been explained by Jesus, so to help me in the future to what I mean by self-forgiveness and self-corrective application acting as one, meaning if one goes separate from the other, it won't work. So every self-forgiveness that I make, I have to keep in mind or be aware of that this application, self-forgiveness application, needs to be followed by self-corrective action, because the mind works with thoughts, actions, and words. So basically, the reason why I speak aloud is for the words part to affect my mind, so that I not reprogram, but so that I redefine self and experience who I really am as awareness. So it's a redefinition of myself, redefine as who I really am as awareness. So basically, forgiveness must become as one with self through this process of self-realization. Must become so part of self as the necessity of every breath required to be able to exist and live in this world. Forgiveness with corrective application becomes a way of life, as it becomes one's foundational support and stability during this process of self-realization and awareness. This application of forgiveness with corrective application never stops. It becomes to part of self in every moment. It becomes who you are to support and stabilize yourself during this process. This is important, that last sentence. Self-forgiveness with corrective application becomes who I am, and stabilize myself during this process. It is my stability point. Self-forgiveness and corrective application is a stability point that I was looking for today. Just remember when I was walking near the street, I was telling myself I feel like a flag without a pole, as if I have no reference point. Well, this is my support. I need support within myself, and my only support that I allow myself to have is self-corrective application with self-forgiveness, or vice versa. So the only support that I allow myself to have is the support of self-forgiveness and self-corrective application. Everything else is not a support, is to be let go of. I let go of everything else which is not self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, which is one, forms one. So basically my support is self-corrective application, practical self-corrective application, and self-forgiveness. So my foundation, who I am, is self-forgiveness with practical corrective application. This is who I am from now on. This is Alex Parkinson, self-forgiveness with corrective application. I do not accept and allow myself to have any other support than the support of self-forgiveness and self-corrective application as who I am. Till here no further. I am self-corrective application and self-forgiveness. I am self-forgiveness with self-corrective application. An extra addition of what I have realized, now this is Jesus speaking, is that if there is anything I fear letting go of, or giving up in my world, or of myself, my hat for example, this I found was an indication that I have defined myself as this something I fear letting go of, or giving up through my mind consciousness system, and that I must allow myself to walk through the resistance of giving this up and letting this go unconditionally. Because I have learned the difficult and hard way if I do not do it. The universe as myself will forcefully take it from me. Because to a certain extent, I do realize that this something does not support or stand with me as who I am as awareness, but is supporting my mind as another point of control to not allow me to see, understand, and realize who I am. So my hat supports my mind. There's no way around it. There's no excuses or justifications that I may come up with in my mind. I know. I'm aware. I'm commonsensically aware that my hat, I cannot hide away from my hat like I can hide the fact that I have shirt and jeans and underwear on. This is irrelevant. But the hat is different in the sense that it is really something that the mind conscious system uses to define myself as. So by removing myself by stopping the practical application of wearing my hat, I will move in the direction of letting go of the thought, and the thought will dissipate and will eventually disappear as I will continue with the support of myself as self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, which goes hand in hand together as one foundation of who I am. What I realized is that fear of loss only exists in the mind, because I am not able to lose anything, not even myself. I am infinitely here as awareness. I am here as awareness. Awareness is common sense. I am here as common sense. I am here as awareness. Infinitely. Infinitely. There's no time. Infinite. There's no like yesterday, today, tomorrow. It's only here. And here is infinite. Here is me. Here is who I am, one and equal. No separation, no end, no beginning. I am the beginning and the end. As awareness. I realize that if I fear losing something, fear letting it go, or giving it up, I have defined myself as this something, and that an idea exists. If I let it go and give it up unconditionally, I will apparently in some way lose myself. This losing of self is impossible and only exists in the mind. So that's really what I wanted to record about myself. Record about this particular moment's application, because this needs to be realized that self-forgiveness and self-corrective application goes hand in hand. I need to apply myself with practical application and not just state out self-forgiveness statements, because when the practical application is not there or only partially there, it won't last. Because I have to admit that I have tested myself out recently without my hand, which have been proven to be the time that I tested myself to be points of high points basically. But that high point is generated by the mind. It's the belief that I was still controlled by the mind. Now I have to continue with that application, corrective application, no matter what. No matter if people judge me as being ugly, I don't care what people see about me. It doesn't stop my expression. Well, I say that now, but I need to live it. I need to live the I don't care. As Maddie said, you have realized it, but are you living it? No, I'm going to live it. I don't care what they say, because I'm not limited by what they say. I'm awareness, and awareness never loses itself. I don't care because I never lose myself. This has to be in my mind. I never lose in my awareness, I never lose myself. I can never lose it. Whatever they say, I can never lose me. Because I fear that, basically, I fear that if they say that I'm ugly, that I will lose myself as being pretty. But I am not defined as being pretty. And I am not defined as being ugly. So even if they say I'm ugly, it goes just nowhere. Because ugly is nowhere, nothing. It just flows right through me and no reaction within me, because I don't care, because awareness is undefined. And I cannot lose any idea. I can only lose the idea. I can only lose the mind. So if I have to admit that I don't want to lose the mind, thus I keep on wearing my hat in order to attract good remarks or positive remarks that I need, or that I believe that I need, in order to accept myself. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to believe that I need positive remarks from others in order for me to accept myself as who I am as awareness. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to believe and perceive that who I am as awareness needs, desires, wants to be accepted. Awareness doesn't want to be accepted. I am accepted. I am acceptance. It's not something that I want to get, I'm already it. This has to be here. Here is already it. Here is already me as acceptance. Here is already an acceptance. So I will continue with this. I will continue with no prayers, no symbols. Go away. The mind is influencing me now. No prayers, no symbols. Just be here.